Sweet Things, a Storyboard Cafe original, written by Isaac Parbe, Episode 1, Part 2. Title, The Night is Young to Paint It Red, Baby. At last, the rhythmic clicking of heels on the restaurant floor caught his ear. Kwesi looked up just as Ayorkor Bonsu, a vibrant and curvy woman in an African print dress, approached. Her slightly dishevelled appearance betrayed the rush she had been in to arrive, but her presence radiated authority and charm. "Mr. Appiah?" she asked, extending a hand. Kwesi stood, offering a warm smile. "Yes, you must be Ayorkor." "I am! I'm so sorry I'm late. The previous client ran over," she explained, her words flowing like the hurried stream of someone perpetually managing time. Kwesi gestured toward the seat opposite him. "No need to apologize. Please have a seat." She slid into the chair, her briefcase landing neatly beside her. "Thank you for waiting," she said, exhaling a breath of relief. "I appreciate your patience," Kwesi chuckled softly. "Well, I'm glad you made it, and besides, patience is a necessary virtue, especially when working with editors." Her laugh was light and genuine, spoken like a man with more than one manuscript under his belt. Kwesi's gaze shifted briefly to the manuscript on the table. "This is the first, actually. The full draft." He slid it toward her, the title on the cover glaring up at them both. "The Perfect Son!" Ayorkor picked it up, flipping through the pages with an editor's practiced eye. 560 pages, she noted, a hint of challenge in her tone. "Yes," Kwesi admitted, his voice tight with a mix of pride and apprehension. She set the manuscript back down, centering it between them. "Well," she said with a sly smile, "I loved the first chapter you sent me. It was enough to make me clear my weekend schedule for this. A bottle of wine, some peace and quiet, and this manuscript will get the attention it deserves." Kwesi relaxed slightly, a small smile tugging at his lips. "I hope it's worth all that effort." "Don't worry," she said, her tone brimming with assurance. "You're in good hands. I've worked with enough writers to know that the best stories sometimes just need the right guidance. Together we'll make it shine." Their laughter filled the space between them, blending seamlessly into the vibrant energy of the restaurant. Kwesi's initial nervousness began to dissipate, his shoulders relaxing. "It already feels like something worth celebrating," he said, his lips curving into a genuine smile. Ayorkor leaned back slightly in her chair, her expression one of playful amusement. "I hope you're not expecting a celebration every step of the way. There's going to be plenty of work for both of us." "I'm ready," Kwesi assured her. She raised an eyebrow. "You're saying that now, but rewriting tends to scare most writers." "Scare me?" Kwesi scoffed, a hint of bravado in his voice. "I've made it through writing 560 pages. I think I can handle a little rewriting." Ayorkor chuckled softly, her eyes narrowing slightly as if gauging his resolve. "Good, because that's where the magic happens. Rewriting. It's in those moments you discover the real depth of your story. But you have to promise me something." She leaned forward slightly, her voice dropping to a more serious tone. "Promise me you'll stick with this till the end, no matter how grueling it gets. This is my passion, and I'm all in if you are." Kwesi met her gaze, sensing her sincerity. For a moment, the bustling restaurant seemed to fade, leaving only the weight of her words between them. "I'm ready," he said, his voice steady and firm. The intensity of the moment softened as Kwesi broke into a sheepish grin. "You know," he began, "I should have asked what you'd like to drink as soon as you sat down. I was so nervous, it completely slipped my mind." Ayorkor laughed lightly, waving her hand dismissively. "That's okay, but now feels like the perfect time," Kwesi said, straightening in his seat. "I think we should toast to this partnership. What do you say?" Her lips curved into a soft smile. "Not a bad idea at all." Kwesi flagged down a nearby waiter, his confidence growing. As the waiter approached, Ayorkor glanced around the restaurant, her expression momentarily distant. "You know," she said as Kwesi finished ordering, "I don't often work this closely with my clients, but something about your story—" She trailed off, her gaze returning to his. "It feels like it's going to be something special." Kwesi's smile was both warm and grateful. "I appreciate that. I just hope I live up to your expectations." The waiter returned, setting down their drinks. Kwesi raised his glass, the faint clink of ice against crystal punctuating the gesture. Ayorkor mirrored him, her glass catching the light. "To new beginnings," Kwesi said, "and to making magic," Ayorkor added. Their glasses met with a soft chime, the toast marking the start of what both hoped would be an extraordinary collaboration. In a different part of town, the night air was crisp and carried the faint hum of traffic in the distance as George stepped out of his sleek black sedan. He walked around to the passenger side, opening the door with a practiced flourish. Nkechi smiled as she emerged, smoothing her fitted dress. He offered his hand and she took it, warmth spreading through her palm. "You look stunning tonight," George murmured, his voice low and intimate. Nkechi chuckled, her cheeks warming. "Flattery will get you everywhere." George didn't let go of her hand. Instead, he pulled her gently toward him, his other hand resting on the small of her back. Before she could react, his lips brushed against hers. It wasn't rushed. George's movements were deliberate and confident. Nkechi responded, her free hand finding his shoulder as their kiss deepened. But something tugged at her mind, a faint hesitation. She broke the kiss, leaning back slightly. "We should eat first," she said, her voice soft but firm. George smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Of course, we've got the whole night ahead of us." Arm in arm, they walked toward the restaurant, their laughter mingling as they stepped inside. Thank you for listening to part 2 of the first episode of Sweet Things, an original series from the Storyboard Cafe. Be sure to follow us at A Creative Clinic on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single weekly episode.